A great thing that you can do with your hair that will really nourish it and help it is about once a month just rub coconut oil into your scalp and also pull it through your hair and bind your hair up and leave it. And I do that, I try and do it once a month. That doesn't always happen once a month. And just bind it up and leave it there all day. And at the end of the day, shampoo it out. That's very nourishing for the scalp. What about dandruff? Dandruff can often happen when using shampoo with sodium lauryl sulfate. It can also happen when a person's on a high sugar diet because that basically feeds the dandruff. So getting a better shampoo and doing a coconut oil rub or soak every month ideally, and also looking at your diet because we are what we eat.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Barbara O'Neill, and today we're tackling an issue that affects more people than you might realise: hair loss caused by toxic environments. Whether it's exposure to pollutants, chemicals, or even stress from our surroundings, these factors can significantly impact the health of your hair. If you've noticed more hair shedding or thinning, you're not alone. Studies show that environmental toxins are a leading cause of hair loss, especially in urban areas. In this lecture, we'll explore how these toxic environments contribute to hair loss and, more importantly, what you can do to protect your hair. So let's dive in and start with the causes of hair loss. As a thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment why you want to win.
So what would be some of the most common causes of hair loss? Well, one friend of mine, she always dyed her hair. Her hair, she was showing grey hair from a very early age, and so from about the age of 30, she began to dye her hair. Now you can get a hair dye made of henna, and henna is a plant that can dye your hair, and that is not toxic. But my friend did not use that one. She used a chemical hair dye. And little by little, it was killing off her follicles where the hair grows. So it can be chemicals on the hair. Another friend of mine did not like her very curly hair, and so all her life, from probably about her late teens right up until her 50s, she straightened her hair. Now the solutions that they use to straighten the hair, or for people with straight hair that want curly hair, it is a very toxic chemical. So what happens is, if a person wants to straighten their hair, what the hairdresser does is pull the hair over great big rods like that. And so the curly hair that's this curly, of course, gets pulled over them, and that straightens it. But if a person's got straight hair and they want curly hair, well, the rods are that big and they stretch the hair around and around and around. So whether it's to straighten the hair or whether it's to curl the hair, they put this toxic solution on. It's a strong chemical, and what it does is it breaks all the little joints in the hair, because hair has all these little joints like this. So what it does is it breaks the joints, and then it's molded, of course, around either there for the curl or there for the straight. And then when all of those little bonds are broken and it's been stretched into a certain shape, they rinse off that chemical, and then they put another chemical on to set it. So to set the bonds together, and then that sets the hair structure as straight or as curly. So basically that's how the hair is permed. When I first left school at the age of 16, I was a hairdresser for about 4 years, and we used to do a lot of perms. And that's how they perm hair, whether it be straight or whether it be curly. But when those chemicals are constantly going on the hair, little by little, they kill the hair follicles. I have also seen in some areas where people braid their hair really, really tightly. You'll often see that they've got hair loss around here, where you've got that weight, you've got that constant weight on the hair, which can really just keep pulling the hair out, and then the follicles are damaged. So No matter how it happens, we must stop what is causing the damage. That's the first one. If you don't turn the tap off, you're still mopping up in the other corner. Sometimes I see hair loss in a hormonal imbalance. So if it's a hormonal imbalance, then the hormones must be balanced back again. And that's where the Anna's Wild Yam Cream. I have a presentation on balancing the hormones, and you can Google my name and watch that. And it will show you that the Anna's Wild Yam Cream is a cream that when it's regularly applied twice a day, it balances those hormones back and can cause that hair to grow back again. Sometimes high stress, if someone goes through a very stressful situation, one of the reactions can be hair loss. So what can you do to bring it back again? There's one more that I didn't mention, and that's anemia. If a person is anemic, it can cause hair loss. So what's anemic? Anemic means very low iron in the blood. And anemia can be caused because of heavy blood loss at period time. A lot of women suffer from that, and that can cause anemia. And the anemia can cause the hair loss. So to resolve that, again, watch my lecture on hormones, boost the progesterone, get the estrogen down, then there won't be the heavy blood loss every month, and the person won't be anemic anymore, and so again, the hair can grow. Another cause of anemia can be low hydrochloric acid, because iron is bound up in food, and it needs acid to liberate it from food. So it's very important that the person ensure they have nice strong hydrochloric acid. A simple way to ensure that is to have 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper in a little bit of water before every meal. If you're finding that a little bit hard, you can have the juice of a lemon before every meal. Important to leave a break between meals. Important not to drink water with your meals, because that dilutes the hydrochloric acid.
Now let's discuss the toxic environment. Living in a toxic environment can lead to hair loss in various ways, affecting both the body and mind. The stress that comes from unhealthy living or working conditions, combined with exposure to environmental pollutants, can create a perfect storm for hair damage. Understanding how these factors contribute to hair loss is essential for taking preventive steps. First, let's talk about environmental pollutants. These are substances in the air, water, or products we use daily that can harm our health, including our hair. Air pollution, for instance, is more than just dirty air. It carries tiny particles of dust, smoke, and heavy metals that can settle on your scalp. Over time, these pollutants can clog hair follicles, causing inflammation and irritation. This is like having a constant low-level allergic reaction on your scalp, which weakens the hair follicles and disrupts the normal hair growth cycle. When hair follicles are inflamed, they struggle to produce healthy hair, leading to thinning and eventual hair loss. Water quality is another environmental factor that can influence hair health. Many people don't realize that the water they use to wash their hair can contain chemicals that are harmful to the scalp. Chlorine, often found in tap water, is used to disinfect, but can be harsh on hair, stripping it of natural oils and leading to dryness. Hard water, which contains a high concentration of minerals like calcium and magnesium, can leave deposits on the scalp and hair, making it brittle and more prone to breakage. Over time, these factors contribute to gradual hair loss as the hair becomes weaker with each wash. The chemicals found in everyday hair care products can also play a role in hair loss. Many shampoos, conditioners, and styling products contain ingredients like sulfates, parabens, and synthetic fragrances, which can be too harsh for regular use. These chemicals strip the scalp of its natural oils, leading to dryness, irritation, and eventually hair breakage. Additionally, if you're frequently exposed to hair dyes, perms, or straightening treatments, the harsh chemicals involved can damage the hair structure, making it more vulnerable to falling out. But the environment's toxicity isn't just about what you're exposed to physically, it's also about the emotional and psychological environment. Chronic stress, often a result of living or working in a toxic environment, is a major contributor to hair loss. When you're under constant stress, your body produces more of the hormone cortisol. Elevated cortisol levels can disrupt the hair growth cycle by pushing more hair follicles into the resting phase, telogen, resulting in a condition known as telogen effluvium. This condition causes noticeable hair shedding, often in clumps, and although it's usually temporary, the hair loss can persist as long as the stress remains. Now the question is how you can regrow your hair. Well, let's discuss some of the most powerful remedies.
But what can you do to the scalp to encourage the hair to grow again? You can make a mix that you can put on your hair. And this mix is, let's make up the mix. So half a cup of coconut oil and half a cup of castor oil. Castor oil is a very thick oil, but castor oil penetrates deeper than any other oil. So when that is put onto the scalp, it penetrates even deeper. Coconut oil is a very nourishing oil. It's an antifungal oil, antibacterial oil. But what you also can put with that, so now you've got a cup of oil there. To that cup of oil, you can add 10 drops of rosemary essential oil. Rosemary is a herb that's specific for the scalp. Rosemary essential oil. So you could make up this mix in a jar and mix it very, very well, and maybe once a week you massage it into the scalp. Your hair will be very oily, of course, but you massage it into the scalp. Just even the massaging into the scalp stimulates blood supply to the hair follicles. That castor oil penetrates very deep, and wherever it penetrates, it can revive life into that area. And the coconut also is a very nourishing oil, and the rosemary essential oil stimulates. Every herb stimulates different parts of the body, and this rosemary herb is specific for the scalp. The massaging, so leave it in as much as you can. Maybe you choose a Sunday when you may be going to be home all day. And at the end of the day, you wash out. Now you might need to put shampoo on a couple of times to get all that oil out. Just use a little bit of hot water and then a nice amount of shampoo. And if it's still a little bit greasy, maybe shampoo it again. Now that brings us to the shampoo. There's something that you must keep right away from, and it's called sodium lauryl sulfate. Sodium lauryl sulfate is what's in many shampoos, and sodium lauryl sulfate kills the hair follicles. So it's important to take a magnifying glass into the shop and read the labels. In places like Whole Foods, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, where they have a lot of health foods, so they have a lot of supplements, and they have a more healthier brand of products. So have a look for a shampoo that has no, so we've got to make sure you realise no sodium lauryl sulfate, because the sodium lauryl sulfate is a chemical that causes the foaming of the shampoo, and that sodium lauryl sulfate has the ability to kill the hair follicles in the scalp. So please keep away from that. You can get some very nice coconut-based shampoos. Coconut is very nourishing to the scalp. What's also important, here are some additions to the treatment. So additions to using this once a week. I mean, if you're home a lot, you might even do it twice a week. Exercise. What exercise does is it increases the circulation of the blood to the extremities, and the scalp is considered an extremity. So exercise daily, especially the high intensity interval training. The high intensity interval training, because of the periods of very high intensity, that really gets the blood moving out to the extremities. So that should be done daily. And hydration, keep well hydration. Remember, the rule of thumb is 8 glasses to 100 pounds body weight. That's a good rule of thumb too, to know how much water to give the children. Nourishment. We need to nourish that scalp from the inside, because your scalp is fed by your blood. That's why when you exercise, you get more blood to the area. But when you get the blood to the area, you want it to be well watered. Exercise will automatically put the oxygen in there. And nourishment, we need to be having a high fiber diet, high fiber. We also need to be having generous amounts of protein. Here's your legumes, your nuts, your seeds. So generous proteins. Proteins are the building blocks of the body. And healthy fats. So there's your nuts, your seeds, your avocados, coconut and olive oil. Myself, I prefer the taste of the olive oil. We had a Fijian cook for a while and they preferred the taste of the coconut oil. So whatever your preference is. It's a very concentrated food. You do not need very much, just a little bit, but it certainly can make food taste nice. We had big baked potatoes here yesterday. I opened my baked potato and I said to the cook, have you got a bit of olive oil there? Very nice to sprinkle a little olive oil in there and Celtic salt. Oh, it makes potatoes very nice.
Now let's explore some of the best ways to overcome hair loss due to the toxic environment. Overcoming hair loss caused by a toxic environment requires a comprehensive approach that addresses both the physical and emotional stresses affecting your hair. By taking proactive steps to protect your hair, improve scalp health, and manage stress, you can work towards reversing the damage and promoting healthier hair growth. One of the first steps in combating hair loss due to a toxic environment is to reduce your exposure to harmful pollutants. If you live in an area with high levels of air pollution, consider covering your hair when you're outside. A hat, scarf, or even a hood can provide a barrier against airborne toxins like dust, smoke, and chemicals that can settle on your scalp and clog your hair follicles. These pollutants can cause inflammation, leading to hair thinning and loss over time. When you get home, it's important to cleanse your hair and scalp of any pollutants that may have accumulated during the day. Use a gentle, sulfate-free shampoo that doesn't strip your hair of its natural oils. Sulfates, which are harsh detergents found in many shampoos, can dry out your scalp and hair, making them more susceptible to damage. Look for shampoos with natural ingredients like tea tree oil or charcoal, which can help detoxify your scalp while keeping it hydrated. The quality of water you use to wash your hair can also impact your scalp health. If you live in an area with hard water, the high levels of minerals like calcium and magnesium can leave deposits on your hair and scalp, leading to dryness and irritation. Installing a water softener or a shower filter can significantly reduce these minerals, making your water gentler on your hair. These filters can also remove chlorine, which is commonly added to tap water and can be harsh on your hair. After washing, consider using a leave-in conditioner or hair serum to lock in moisture and create a protective barrier against environmental damage. Look for products that contain nourishing ingredients like argan oil, shea butter, or keratin, which can help repair damaged hair and prevent further breakage. Another essential step is to reassess the products you use on your hair. Many commercial shampoos, conditioners, and styling products contain chemicals that can contribute to hair loss over time. Sulfates, parabens, and synthetic fragrances are common culprits that can irritate the scalp, weaken hair follicles, and lead to hair breakage. Instead, opt for products that are free from these harsh chemicals and focus on those with natural, nourishing ingredients. Coconut oil, for example, is known for its moisturizing properties and can help strengthen hair and reduce breakage. Aloe vera is another great ingredient that soothes the scalp and promotes healthy hair growth. Additionally, if you frequently use heat styling tools, try to limit their use and always apply a heat protectant before styling to minimize heat damage.
The colour of the hair, a lot has to do with genetics. My husband is white, and both his parents were white at 50. And my mother died at 51 with brown hair, and my father just passed at 92 with greying hair, but a lot of black. Now, there's my brother, then me, and 3 younger sisters, and none of us have grey hair, because from both sides of our family, there wasn't grey. Now, my father's sister, she died at 68 with brown hair, And at the funeral, I saw my 3 cousins, her sons, that I haven't seen for a long time, and they're all grey. So they've probably got that a little bit from the father's side. So Michael and I are interesting because we're both extremes, really. Both his parents white at 50, and my parents are not grey. But I also know that people have claimed to get the colour back in their hair by drinking a lot of green drinks. Now, what green drinks contain is a lot of minerals. And when you consider what we talked about this afternoon, that the mineral content of the soil is about 50% less what it was 50 years ago, that a lot of the foods today have less minerals in them. You see, in Australia, the soil is the plants are just put in year after year after year. What should happen is when a crop comes out of the ground, then the soil should be fed with rich compost, because every time a crop is in the ground, it's taking nutrients out. And if you don't replace the nutrients, then the next crop that's grown there is going to be nutrient deficient. So that makes sense, doesn't it? So really looking at agriculture is the only way to change the farming habits. And unfortunately, because there's big dollars made in big industry and growing lots of stuff and superphosphate, I don't know how that will ever turn around. But you can do the best you can. You can grow as much as you can, you can buy the best quality that you can, and you can have green drinks. So how do you have green drinks? Well, you can buy chlorophyll, you can buy green barley powder, you can buy wheatgrass powder, you can buy super greens. So basically taking that 3 times a day, making sure you have lots of greens in your daily salad will ensure it. You don't lose the minerals when you cook your greens. You only lose your minerals if you throw the water away that you cook them in. Now, in many shampoos today, there is a, there is a chemical, and it's called sodium lauryl sulfate. And sodium lauryl sulfate makes it foam, and it kills hair follicles. So it's important to buy shampoo that doesn't have sodium lauryl sulfate, because that certainly can contribute to hair loss.
Thank you for watching and taking the time to learn about how toxic environments can affect your hair health. I hope the information and tips I've shared today help you take steps to protect your hair from harmful environmental factors. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more health and wellness advice. Don't hesitate to leave a comment if you have any questions or want to share your experiences. I'm here to help. Take care of yourself and your environment, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy.